Prafulji, but your time is only 5 minutes.
I'll try, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Made up,
It is made up speech.
made up speech.
Made up speech, not.
Deputy Chairman, sir,
Yes.
thank you for the opportunity, and I'm sorry and I apologize to you and the House for missing my turn and now being permitted to speak. I also compliment my dear young friend Piyush Goyal. We are good friends from Mumbai for many years, and I compliment him for the enthusiasm and the zeal with which he has set about discharging his responsibilities, and I'm sure he will find always the right support from people like me, because I sincerely believe that the future of our country depends on our energy security, and power being a very important ingredient in the livelihoods of all individuals, for the industrial development and the overall progress of our nation. I think it is important. A lot of our colleagues have spoken on various aspects, so I don't want to go into it again and again. But from 1991, when the reform process of power started in our country, the IPPs took off, and therefore we saw a lot more capacity building up, and the private sector also. But unfortunately, while the generation side of the power reforms took off, the transmission and distribution of power did not keep pace with the generation of power. And that is one of the main reasons why, after so many years of reform, as well as the building up of huge capacities, both by the public and the private sector, by the state electricity boards, we have not yet been able to resolve the problems of power. In fact, it is sad that in a country as big as India, in a way which we would like to dispel that notion that we are a third world country or a developing country, we would like to, and we should rightfully be calling ourselves a developed country. Power is something which is very, very core to what we would like to see as progress in our country. The power scenario cannot be just sorted out by my friend Piyush Goyal sitting in Delhi. I think it requires a strong partnership between the center and the states. And it is important because power, while a lot of it is, the central government and through its PSU does produce power, but ultimately power is primarily produced by the states or by the IPPs. And the core of power, I think, if you really want to see, because we have a lot of power being generated in pockets, but the equitable distribution of power, the pan-India distribution of power, the concept for which the Power Grid Corporation was set up, the concept with which we want to see that power moves freely from maybe Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Imphal to Bhuj, I think all that has to be achieved through a proper transmission grid. And that is principally the reason, I think, where we have not yet been able to keep pace. Many a times we see power failure in some parts of the country, tripping of power. All that can be resolved if we have a strong power grid. And I think Piyush Goyal would look at this objectively. It is something which we have to follow up very aggressively. The other issue here is always we hear of shortage of coal. Somebody mentioned that he talked of a 2-day power supply of coal supply. Well, whatever the real situation may be, I don't want to go into that. But the fact is, you mentioned the other day on that same subject that we have advised everybody to import coal. And importing coal is okay, one part of the solution. But is it the effective solution? Is it something which it's not available on tap? You can't import coal on demand. Coal is linked to long-term supplies. You have to go for global tenders. Then you have to ship it into our country. Then from the port, eventually take it to the power station. It's a huge, very cumbersome and a very major exercise. Even within India, I think if I have little knowledge of the sector, I can tell you that it's not the question of Coal India's production of power alone. Yes, there is a shortage of coal. The Coal India has not been able to produce as much coal required. But even within what is produced, The evacuation of that coal, transportation of coal has still not yet been resolved, and that is one of the major reasons. If you actually see the pithead reserves of Coal India or of various mines, I think you will get the answer that that coal, if really evacuated and transported on time, can reduce the time lag between what coal is being produced and what eventually is being consumed. So I think that aspect, and you know, I remember having been in government also for some time, I know for a fact that there were sincere efforts being made. There are some issues of evacuation of coal where some railway lines have to be added, where railway lines have not been added for many years because the environmental clearances have not come, or land acquisition has been some issues. I think for a country as big as India, if 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers of railway lines are required for more effective dispersal and evacuation of coal, I think we should look it up as a mission mode. If you really want to succeed, my friend, I would tell you that you take this up, it will be truly something which you will have addressed in a very reasonable period of time at the limited cost which would take, rather than looking at the larger picture and achieving it after 10 years with great difficulty. I think this is like a low-hanging fruit. If you look at it, this can be really taken up. Even the many, today you see, all the power projects are, I would like to say, many of the IPPs, a majority of them are up for sale. Because a lot of these projects are unable, yes, I appreciate, sir, give me 1 or 2 minutes. Large number of power projects today are available for sale, because the fact is that the promoters have not been able to complete the projects on time for environmental reasons, for land acquisition reasons, for various other regulatory processes, and to compound to the fact that in between we've had this big issue of the coal, mining. I don't know what the truth is, but the fact of the matter is it has left such a problem for the entire power sector of the country that today it's like water is there, but you can't have a drop to drink. We have the coal. India probably, it's an irony that a country which has 100 years of proven coal reserves has to import coal. And after 30 or 40 years, we are not going to be needing coal, because people all over the world, thermal power plants will be on their way out, and there will be alternative sources of energy, whether it's wind, solar, hydro, and of course nuclear. My friends may be opposed to nuclear energy, but that apart, I'm telling you that nuclear power is something which is an option which the government has to look at. There is no shortcuts to it. There is no other way of turning your way, back to it. The fact is that nuclear power in countries, in advanced countries like France, where 70%, 80% of their entire power production comes from nuclear sources. It's okay, there may be some incidents. I'm sure there are various, ways now to redress these kind of accidents which have taken place, maybe in, what was that, in Fukushima, or in Chernobyl in the USSR. But that notwithstanding, I think nuclear power, sir, is a very important option. Sir, solar. Solar power, we are going to be having, I don't know how much is the installed capacity, so I think 2,000 now, but our mission is to reach 20,000 megawatts of solar power by 2020. And if we are to reach that, does the House know that not a single megawatt of solar panel can be made within the country? Today, every solar panel is assembled only in India. The raw material, the chip is imported, bulk of it from China and from Germany, very little quantity. If that is the situation, we must look at setting up integrated solar manufacturing PV cell units within the country. We had started this exercise with BHEL. You may continue with BHEL. You may continue to incentivize even the private sector. I am not into that issue. The issue is that a country which is aspiring to
now
have
conclude.
20,000, sir, I think I'm making little sense, sir.
I know.
I think I'm trying to make little sense.
No. That I can't, no.
I'll conclude, sir.
That is correct. No, they are useful
Sir,
point.
I
I
am only
agree.
helping
But
the
I have to
government
manage
to
also.
solve the power problem of our country.
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes.
We have blackout even in parliament sometimes,
yeah.
sir. While we speak, the lights go off.
I have solar light in my house, you must know. I know. Eh?
So, but I am
Yeah, I
saying
have.
that the solar light in
I
your
have-
house is not made in India. That is the point I am making.
There should be research.
I am not making. I am sure coming
yeah,
from Kerala,
that
sir,
is
you
no.
would like to make it in India.
Yeah, please.
So, sir,
So now you conclude.
Talking about Swadeshi and I heartily
I
welcome
also
that.
welcome it. I
sir,
fully
sir,
support.
it is their
But
agenda
time-
of the Swadeshi Jagran, so
Yeah.
I am just only enlightening
I fully
them
support
further.
that I have to manage time.
Sir, my limited issue here is, sir, that all the alternative sources of energy, nuclear should be examined, should be encouraged. There are various strong lobbies for and against. Even there are strong lobbies for and against for even hydropower. We see so many agitations taking place. But a country which is on the foothills of the Himalayas, right from Arunachal Pradesh till Kashmir, should not be so obsessed that hydropower cannot be produced in the country. There are projects which have come up. There will be more projects required in the future. Even Bhutan, where the Honorable Prime Minister just visited, Bhutan's entire hydroelectricity program is funded, supported, and it is run by India. And the entire power we are buying from them. If Bhutan can be power rich, or at least whatever you can say well off due to the power they produce and sell to India, why can't India itself produce the power and sell it to itself? And that is why we have to create more and more sources of hydropower, solar power, wind power. I am happy that in the last budget, Nirmala ji, you have encouraged the accelerated depreciation which had been taken away. And that is the result why in the last 3-4 years, if you see the statistics, 2 years I think, wind power really actually plummeted. Actually, nobody really looked at the issue. And I also tried to make a lot of sense. Nobody even heard me then, but I'm happy that you've taken the initiative. I'm not trying to go into partisan politics, but it's a fact is that we need all the alternative sources of energy in our country. And I'm happy that this is being looked into. Final point, sir, is the FSAs, the fuel supply agreements for all the producers. Coal India simply has refused to sign any FSAs. Without a fuel supply agreement, all the power producers have gone and signed the PPAs with the state electricity boards. Those PPAs become unbankable in the absence of an FSA being signed between Coal India and these IPPs. So I'm sure the minister is seized of these issues. These are legacy issues, but I'm sure with his zeal and enthusiasm, he will be able to sort them out. And thank you, sir, once again for allowing me, though lengthy, but I hope I have made sense. Thank you, sir.